So I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Trump's heading to Alaska to meet with Vladimir Putin. Kind of an important meeting. It may stop a very critical war. Most have heard about this, and most would be paying attention that this is the most important news story that's happening right now. But somebody else had something in mind. And F-bombs begin to fly. Major tensions, major meltdown that may spell absolute disaster. Do you have the details of what just occurred and what triggered the meltdown? It's everything I'm going to bring you and a whole lot more that most people won't even find for you. And it's the story I'll bring you in 1 minute.
If he rigs this election, you will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to him. The most corrupt president in history.
Gavin, you do understand that you've just been trolled. Your Trump derangement syndrome is so bad that you fell for someone sending you in the mail a Trump 2028 hat, and you felt it so important that you jumped on national news to say, mark my word, Trump will be running for a third term. Does anybody else feel that there's something significantly wrong with these people? Because if you don't, maybe he is just truly what he represents himself to be, just falling as a trained monkey for the GOP, falling for every hook, line, and sinker that Trump sets. And, thank you, Gavin. Thank you. Because you've proven time and time again that you serve one purpose. You simply help to promote Trump and continue to prove the point that he is the better man. But what did he do? What did Trump do just over the last few days? He taunts, he harasses, he trolls. Did you happen to catch this yesterday? Another part of the meltdown that occurred? Outside that press conference that you just saw, something else occurred. ICE showed up. I don't mean to chuckle, but this is freaking hilarious. Not this portion that's hilarious. I'm going to bleep this out because there's a lot of expletives because someone in the background, of course, is harassing ICE once again. And you see the F-bomb being dropped time and time. And you see they like to use the F-bomb a lot. It's going to kind of take a centerpiece in this story. And now we'll go on to volume here in one moment as, there we go.
Well done.
Greg, Mr. Goyuna from Fox 11, can I get a quick comment?
Hey, what's going on here?
How you doing?
Hey,
what happened?
We're here making Los Angeles a safer place. Since we won't have politicians that'll do that, we do that ourselves. So that's what we're here today, as you can see. Already making it a safer place. We're glad to be here, not going anywhere.
And the governor's inside right there.
I don't know where he's at.
Did you have
a no idea where the governor's in there? Man, I had no idea the governor's in there. Are you serious? He's right in that building behind me. We having a press conference that was announced. I seriously didn't know that. And of course, Gavin and Mayor Bass fall for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Right now, you do not believe that this just happened to be a coincidence.
There is no way this was a coincidence. This was widely publicized that the governor and many of our other elected officials were having a press conference here to talk about redistricting.
It works every single time. They've gotten so easy to just trick. I mean, with the amount of stress he's under, I would probably do the same thing just for the amount of laughter it's going to give me as I'm flying over to Alaska. En route to meet in one of the toughest meetings I'm going to have to partake in. F-bombs are flying everywhere. Oh, and it gets much worse. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You have no idea the actual reaction to what they're going to do here. Because the Democrats have made an announcement now. A very serious announcement about Washington, D.C. And what they're going to do about Washington, D.C. They're not going to stand down anymore. They're done. They're done with Trump fighting crime in D.C. They're finished. It's over. How dare you clean up our streets? And they have a very serious plan, folks. Very serious. just a portion of the story I'm going to bring you. First, I want to say, again, thank you for all of you that subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me. As you know, Lisa and I have worked day and night to build many things for you. One of those being restrictedrepublic.com, platform we created. All the news, unfiltered, uncensored, no commercials, no interruptions. Thank you for joining us here on the public platforms. Thank you for joining as members. Thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for always checking that you're still subscribed. Thank you for joining us there. And thank you for supporting all our sponsors, those who help keep these lights and cameras on. And what I love about the sponsor I'm about to bring you is that it actually helps save you money. I've went and talked with Chapter once, and an amazing company, and the fact that for free, with one free phone call to 805-619-5011, they are licensed Medicare professionals. If you or a loved one have tried to search through Medicare, there is a multitude of options out there, and I hear it a million times over. I have the best plan, Justus. I have the best plan. Okay, you might. I'm not saying you don't. But by making a free phone call to 805-619-5011, they go through all the plans available to you and see if you have the best plan. If you do, great. Free phone call, you're done. No strings attached. You're talking to a live person. But what if you don't? And they happen to find a better option. And they save you some money, because the average person who calls them saves $1,100 a year. That's just the average person. My audience have already saved thousands by placing one free phone call in a system that is designed to take from you. Get some advantage. Call up the folks at Chapter. It's free. 805-619-5011. Only take a few minutes. See if they maybe can find you some money. Wouldn't that be a great thing today? But now let's get back to this broadcast. Because Ms. Bass was the only one who got a little bit upset. No, Gavin Newsom got a little upset.
Could you speak to the ICE action outside the news conference?
It's pretty sick and pathetic. And it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under. That they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. Said everything you know about Donald Trump's America. Wait.
Everything you need to know about Donald Trump's America. Everything we need to know about you is the fact that immediately after that, you said that somebody sent you a Trump 2028 hat and you fell for it. Sorry, Gavin. Sorry, not sorry, because my audience just needs to absolutely see how oblivious you and your press conference and your meeting was. It was all about redistricting, right? So much so that Adam Schiff came out there trying again to distract from his troubles, calling Trump many names.
He just got his 3rd Air Force One. He's making more money for himself and his family than he ever has in his whole life put together. He doesn't give a rat's ass about you. Not in California, not in Texas. He only cares about himself. It is his underlying corruption that is responsible for the reason why you are struggling.
Adam Schiff talking about underlying corruption. Rat's ass. Boy, they love their expletives. They really do. Adam Schiff talking about underlying corruption. The man who complains that democracy is under attack after getting caught plotting against democratically elected president, being President Trump. But I guess that's pot calling kettle black, huh? This is how they operate, though. They only complain once they get caught for doing the same thing they complain about. Just like they're complaining about right now in that meeting about the nationwide, we're going to do nationwide protest over redistricting. This isn't even back in Washington, D.C. We're going to be in there in a second. We're going to nationwide protest. The masters of redistricting, which are the Democrats, the masters of it, are now going to have nationwide protest over it. Except when you're back in California, Newsom's own gerrymandering will eliminate 4 of 9 Republican districts. The man who's complaining about redistricting. Yeah, it's that easy. Just try to keep the news real black and white, real high level here, 30,000 feet. You don't want to get in the weeds in this stuff because that's when it gets really confusing. And that's what the mainstream media tries to do to you. They try to keep you in the weeds at all times and never really up above so you can see the bigger picture. That's what we do at Restricted Republic. Love doing it, actually. Enjoy doing it. But it goes on. Because if you think they're done with their meltdown, their tirade, the F-bomb raid, Trump's in a plane flying to one of the most important meetings ever. Either getting ready on that plane or almost landing pretty soon now. No, what are they doing?
If you care about your kids' future, you have to recognize this. I don't care what your job is. I don't care what part of the state you live in. I don't care where you came from. You have more in common with an undocumented farm worker than you did with the fucking billionaires who are causing this problem in the first place.
Wow. I guess that was dramatic effect. And that wasn't the first time she dropped the F-bomb either. No, there was another time. And so she then goes on to say that, you know, she used up her Fs for the speech and had to move on to the next speaker. But, you know, they occasionally show you the other side, their real side. This was, just look who's in the background there. I mean, you got all your favorite people. Padilla, of course, Newsom, and Adam Schiff. I mean, it should tell you what this meeting was about, because you have the best of the best back there. But it doesn't stop. The F-bombs don't stop. No, it was the F-bomb parade yesterday. Here's Hunter Biden. You heard about that little, $5 billion, $1 billion, I can't remember what it was anymore. Sorry. Melania Trump threatens the $1 billion lawsuit against Hunter Biden over the Epstein allegation he made. So what is Hunter Biden's response to Melania?
We're here maybe to give you the platform to apologize to the First Lady for your statements that you made about her possible connection to Jeffrey Epstein.
Fuck that. That's not going to happen.
They are just classy individuals, aren't they? They are just classy individuals, aren't they? There's your Democrat Party. Man, seeing that we have nothing to stand on, seeing that we could provide no results, seeing that we could provide no real opportunities, seeing the only thing that we could do is force feed our agenda to everyone. And if we're not allowed to force feed it, we definitely can't sell it because we have no ability to sell it because it's all BS. What we do then is we go on expletive-laden rants so we seem tough. It's disgusting, but it's what they've done. And over the last 24 hours, they seem to be in complete meltdown mode. But it's not done yet. I haven't even gotten to Washington, D.C. We're almost there. Almost there. Because they have a major plan, folks. Major. Trump better beware. The National Guard better beware because the Democrats are coming. But Schumer, he had to weigh in also yesterday. I told you, I dig deep for these things. Deep. Because most people, they just think these folks are on the up and up, right? Classy individuals.
They are very scared to walk outside in D.C., that they think this is completely the right thing to do. Senator, are you scared walking around Washington, D.C. these days?
I walk around all the time. I wake up early in the morning sometimes and take a nice walk.
I think I saw somewhere he was walking around there, D.C. I know I caught him on his morning walk just the other day. I think he was heading in the... I'm so sorry, folks. I know, completely inappropriate. But Schumer goes on for a moment.
And said, you know what? There's this crime emergency. We need the National Guard out there longer. We need to take over Washington, D.C. Would you grant it?
No fucking way. We'll fight him tooth and nail. And right...
Classy, isn't it? There was Chuck Schumer weighing in on the F-bomb train that just happened over the last 24 hours. Meltdown mode, folks. Absolute meltdown mode. At least Eric Swalwell, he didn't curse. You know those classified documents that came out that I just shared with you yesterday? Swalwell had been the source of lots of leaked information. Well, he came out and, of course, challenged that by saying more BS. Well, actually, he did curse, so never mind. Didn't even read that. He jumped on the expletive train also. More BS in service to Trump to try to keep me quiet. Come get me, Cash. Classy, guys. Classy. Stay classy, San Diego. Wow. These folks are a disaster. Of course, how could they not be a disaster when they don't even know each other's names? Right? Jasmine Crockett denounces Republicans as racist after Al Sharpton heaps praise on Jasmine Campbell. They have no party left. They have no semblance of a party. They've been called under the carpet. They don't even know who each other are at this point because she's held up in her apartment worried about her vanity phone at this point with her own image on it. Who puts their own image on their phone? Seriously. And Hakeem Jeffries, here pressed here pressed over Mum Downey and trying to figure out exactly where he stands on this socialist agenda. And finally, even Hakeem Jeffries breaks down.
We just had a whole conversation about an individual who is running for mayor in New York City who is genuinely titling themselves a socialist. And you're saying that you might ultimately support them. And so I'm trying to understand the distinction here.
No. I'm trying to understand why you would spend a significant amount of time asking me about the Democratic nominee who's not even the mayor, and it's not a legitimate point.
So in other words, what I'm asking about, because I don't have Elmo here to present to you today, is why you are focusing on a mayoral candidate over me. You know why, Hakeem? Because you're irrelevant. The mayor is of more interest to the national news than you are. Because you're irrelevant. Your party's irrelevant. Y'all stand for nothing. So even the folks who used to support you, the MSNBCs, the CNN, the CNBCs of the world, are moving on to mayoral candidates over congresspeople. Isn't that sad? I'd be crying in my Wheaties if I were you. Hakeem, maybe you could make another 5-hour speech. Or maybe you can bring, Elmo to the interview next time. You might get a little bit more attention. Trump gets what he wants in D.C. crackdown as Democrats fumble responses. We bring this to a close. I know. Almost there. He got what he wanted, right? He even got the mayor to leave D.C. in the middle of this has always happened. Mayor Bass leaves in the middle of a crisis. Now the D.C. mayor leaves in the middle of a crisis, travels to Martha's Vineyard amid Trump's federalized crime crackdown she had a family emergency, allegedly. Allegedly. It's kind of irrelevant. As the Democrats are claiming they found the home base of criminals in D.C., of course, circling the White House. But they have a plan. They have a plan. They're going to uproot Trump. They're going to disturb everything. And Trump, you better beware, man. You better fly back, get this thing done with Russia quick, because there's a more urgent matter back in D.C. National Guard, beware, folks. I don't know if you're trained to handle this. I don't know if you have the training. I don't know if you may need to go back just to get the proper training to handle this. I hope you're all taking this seriously. Just bear with me for a moment, because it's about to get real. It's about to get real. Because there's a plan in motion. A plan in motion so disturbing, so powerful, so disruptive, so loud, that at 8 p.m. every night, the left is going to bring pots and pans. That's it. That's their plan. Silence is compliance. When I say the party's gone, the party's gone. It's floating down the river. It doesn't even have a ship left or even a raft left anymore. It's that raft that's deflated. And you see some folks trying to grab their coolers to get to shore at this point, because silence is compliance, so we need to get loud. So please, starting tonight and every night at 8 p.m., we want you to, whelp. No. Oh my, OMG. So they are going to disrupt neighbors when they're putting their kids to bed, to have them come outside to discuss politics. Is this real life? Pretty sure if your neighbors have to come outside to shut you up, they won't be discussing politics at 8 p.m. at night. But of course, they got this idea from their leadership on Capitol Hill now, didn't they?
Halcyon people, this is all for you.
It is just like nails down a chalkboard. But that's what I guess they have devolved into. And we make light of it. And I think, they deserve that. Because that is the party. But it's up to Republicans to seize on this opportunity, to continue the momentum rolling forward. as we continue to cover, because this is Trump's and his administration's momentum that is causing this. And we should never forget that, because they have no response. And the more we expose and the more they get exposed, their corruption, their actions, their inactions, their inability, their incapability, then the worse it's going to get. And we'll continue to bring it to you, because I want to put a smile on your face going into the weekend instead of the cold and dire news all the time. But I always try to keep it as positive as we can at 30,000 feet to look down at the disaster that DC is. So remember, stay loud, my friends. Bring those pots and pans. Oh my gosh. That's the best they could come up with. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.